Hi, everyone. We have a very special edition of AI Policy Brew that we're calling Espresso Shot. And we have a great guest with us today, Karan Bhatia, who is the Global Head of Government Affairs and Public Policy at Google. Karan, welcome to the podcast.
Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you. I brought a special drink that I've tried out called Kopi.
This looks rich.
Let's try it. It's really good. Well, at AI Policy Brew, we talk about the intersection of tech, policy, how AI is playing out in people's lives around the region. You're the Global Head of Government Affairs and Public Policy at Google, which is at the forefront of this technology. And I know you're a very frequent visitor to APAC, so welcome back to APAC.
Thank you.
As you travel around the region, I think one of the things that you'll see is a level of optimism and excitement about AI. Is that consistent with what you've been seeing?
Absolutely. We've seen this, the polling numbers sort of reveal it as well, that the Asia Pacific region is among the most optimistic, the most enthusiastic, and the most curious about what AI can do for them.
I will say, like in this region, and frankly around the world, one of the things that governments are tackling as a top priority is how to put the right governance frameworks in place so that they can capitalize on this level of optimism and energy around AI, so they can ensure that the benefits of AI are shared as widely as possible. As you think about APAC, what are some of the observations you have about how policymakers here in the region are thinking about AI?
Well, look, what we're seeing, consistent with what we're saying, is there's a lot of thinking around what can each individual country or the region as a whole do to be at the forefront of the AI revolution. And we're seeing them really focus on four things, and I think these are the four right things. Mm-hmm. One is infrastructure. It's going to be very hard to lead in AI if you don't have the basic infrastructure, the broadband access, the phones, the data centers, the cable. There's significant focus on that. The second is investing in people. The reality is that AI is new technology, and it is going to require adjustment. It's going to require training and skilling, and that's a responsibility of both the government and of the private sector working together. The third thing that we see is being important is governments leaning into the technology with respect to their own operations. Are there ministries, are there state-owned enterprises incentivized to adopt and experiment with the technology? That sends a powerful signal to the society as a whole. And then lastly, do you have the right regulatory and enabling environment? Do you have policy measures that actually allow for the technology to be adopted, incorporated, experimented with, create new innovations? So those, in varying degrees, we're seeing focused on around the region. And there are places like Singapore and Japan, for instance, particularly in that regulatory category, that have been at the forefront of some innovative ideas.
Well, I really love that infrastructure, investing in your people, putting the AI to use in government services, and frankly, having the right kind of pro-innovation policy framework to actually spur this AI ecosystem. There's a lot of conversation happening around the region and the world around the challenges and risk that come along with deploying this technology at scale. I'd like to get your sense for the opportunities that come with this technology and what you're seeing as good opportunities for the APAC region.
Yeah. No, look, to your first point, yes, there are absolutely things that need to be thought about in terms of guardrails and risks. But I would say the greatest risk is not the risk of misuse, but of misuse, of not actually deploying the technology. And that's particularly the case when you look at some of the incredible gains that are already being realized from artificial intelligence and what we stand to gain going forward. And I'd flag three areas in particular. One is healthcare, the impact that AI is already having on drug discovery, for instance, is extraordinary, but it's also being democratized. It's the application and distribution of healthcare services. And I'll give you a very concrete example, not in this region actually, but in Latin America, El Salvador, which had terribly overcrowded public hospitals, has adopted an AI-based telemedicine triage program whereby today 20,000 visits are happening a day with doctors through video and through Gemini AI-enabled analysis, being able to detect and diagnose correctly 94% of the time. That's far exceeding developed country standards, and as a result, significantly lowering the pressure on public hospitals. So you can imagine those kinds of solutions scaled globally.
Google's working with the Digital Health Association in Taiwan.
A great example.
Applying AI in this space where we've taken a 20-minute diabetes risk assessment, and now with AI, that's a 25-second check.
Yeah.
So AI is really helping in this
amazing.
health space.
So in addition to healthcare education, where we're seeing really globally AI-enabled tools helping primary, secondary schools, teachers design curriculum, we're seeing interventions enabled by AI to be able to detect signals that students are getting into trouble and need their specific needs. So education is a secondary. And the last one I would flag is the opportunities for government in the distribution of their own services and their own operation. And that's something where we're seeing the application of AI do everything from enable governments to catch waste, fraud, and abuse, to speed systems for permitting, to helping make sure that citizens get benefits faster and more directly than ever before. So the technology is already having those kinds of benefits.
Well, thank you, Karan. Those are great opportunities that we have here in the region and around the world. Thanks for stopping by and joining our show. Best wishes for you in the remainder of your trip here in APAC. Cheers.
Cheers.